Hi, all of you.
Ready?
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Jenna, you on? Hi, Jenna.
Hey.
Hello, everybody. Welcome.
Hallo daar.
Hello.
Hallo allemaal.
Goedenavond.
Let's see, are we all in now? No, there's still people joining. Did you want to say something, Nasipo? Jake, are you on now? Jay?
Yes, I'm here.
I mean, Jay.
Oh.
You could connect now.
Yeah,
So
I
happy New Year.
I was in at exactly 7 o'clock, so sorry for being late to the pre.
No, you're not late.
room.
Okay.
Right, over to you,
Thank you.
Eunice.
Thank you, Tandy. Thank you so much. Guys, hello to all of you. I'm so glad you're here. Tandy, I just want to know if I left anybody in the waiting room.
No, I've got my eye on
Okay.
it.
Thank you so much. Okay, Good. I hope all of you had a wonderful week because things are happening very quickly now, very fast, the one on top of the other thing. And our world is changing. We are changing, and that's a good thing. We're moving to a much better place within ourselves. So tonight we want to talk about the resolution of one accord. Tandi, if you could put up slide 1. And then we'll just go through the slides and have a quick talk about it. But on every one of the slides, any of you who want to speak about something, discuss it, ask questions, or give us some info as well, please, this is a forum where we can all talk. It's not one person talking. So when the slide comes up, you are more than welcome. Tandi also downloaded the slides and the text in the chat. Not the resolution of one accord is an old one. By accident, it got added there, so don't download that one. But the PDF slides and the text, if you want to have a look at that, you're more than welcome to do that.
Okay, the slide is, I don't know what program you used. Okay, I'll use this one. Okay. Right. Okay, screen share. Sorry, it's busy opening.
I think you shared the documents in the chat. However, the people who joined after you, I probably can't see this in the chat.
Okay,
So,
I'll do it again then.
Yes.
Okay. Just a second.
So if you guys want to download it from there and walk through it as we go along, this is actually meant for you with the people that you speak to and in your assemblies and wherever people gather together, because the resolution of one accord is the basis of anything that we do. So we said on the agenda, we're talking about our voice, and to have a voice means a specific thing. It's not just I can vote. A lot of people have voted, and we know that in South Africa, they've got no idea what they voted for, even a lot of us. So we really need to know, what are we standing for? What do we believe? What do we want to do? Tandi, can you just double click on it so that it opens?
This is in a PDF form.
Yes, if you can open it so it's full screen.
Okay, let me redo the screen share. That stopped for some reason. Okay, I don't think that's going to allow me at that.
Okay, that's fine. Just put it on the way it is. Okay, guys, so when we talk about resolution of one accord, do you, I think most of us signed the declaration of one accord, and then they decided to use the word resolution, which is actually a stronger word, and it's good to go there. So a resolution means it's a firm decision to do or not to do something. It also means intention or resolve, a decision, an intent, an aim, an aspiration, a design, a purpose, an object, a commitment, a pledge, a promise, an undertaking. And this is each one of us who looks at this resolution and say, I want to live according to it. This is where I want to go, is actually making the promise to yourself. Next slide. The people must have a voice that presents their genuine interests. Now, I think a lot of us think we know what our genuine interests are, but until all of us see more or less the same picture, we are not on the same page, and we actually need to get together on one page so that we know from where do we move. This is not about who's the richest or the most academically qualified or whatever. This is about what is really the interest of the people. Tandi, can you just go back one slide? You've gone to the third slide and we're still on slide 2. What does it mean to have a voice? We're going to look into all of these things on this page now as we go along this. What does it mean to have a voice? What are the requirements? What do I contribute? Do I have anything that I can contribute? What are the practical steps? What are the checks and balances? And what are the guiding principles? Now, when I did this, I also put a little definition on the text. What is a checks and balances? What does it mean to have a voice? What is a genuine interest? And it's interesting to see that, because that brings us all together so that we go from move from the same point. Okay, you can go to the next one. Genuine interest must be presented by us. Now, what does it mean to have a voice? A voice is a particular opinion or an attitude. It's an expressed opinion, a view, a comment, a desire, a vote or input. And we cannot just have a voice without knowing what it means to have a voice. Okay, so when we look at the genuine interests, the meaning is genuine, describes people and things that are exactly what they appear to be and are not false or an imitation. Now, guys, we had years of that, so much of that, we never want that again. So we really want transparent and truth and what it really is. It must be exactly what it appears to be. So if we're going to vote on something going forward, we must vote on exactly what they say it is. And we will have to bring truth into that so that people will start believing again. I don't know in your areas, but the people that I have to do with, they do not trust. They question everything. Anybody wants to talk about this? Say something? Put up your hand, you're welcome. You can speak once in the presentation for tonight, once for 2 minutes. You are more than welcome. So I'm going to keep on, and if you want to come in, even if we passed something that you want to talk about, that's fine. We're not rigid in that way. Okay. We say the right to have a voice is equally but opposite our responsibility. That means if I don't do my part, I cannot expect the police to do their part or the cleaners to clean the road. If I know not to throw garbage in the road, I shouldn't do that. And that gives me a right. If I do the right thing, then I've sown the right, I can reap the benefits because I've sown the right to have a voice. And a voice means that what we stand for. We must become a single-minded unit, meaning that all of us should adhere to the principles of the One Accord. This has got nothing to do with religion, politics, status, how fat or how thin you are, the length, how many children you've got, where you live. It's got nothing to do with that. Being single-minded means we all say that we stick and we keep and we live the principles of One Accord. That's how we will change ourselves, our communities, our country, our world. So to become a One Accorder means that you take on this lifestyle. I cannot stand and scream and shout at somebody and then say I'm a One Accorder because I'm doing harm. And we are all human and we do make mistakes sometimes. So if you do scream and shout or you do something that you don't like, ask yourself forgiveness, ask the person to please forgive you and stop doing it. Really put some things in place not to repeat it. We all get our bad days. We all do certain things that we don't like. I for one do. I don't know about you guys, but then we have to stop and change it. We can't keep on doing it and every time just say, oops. We really need to change, and the whole world needs to change. And a lot of people are not on the page that we are talking about now. They're not there yet. Okay, the next one. Thank you, Tandy. So we are here because each of us believe that God has given us an assignment, and our assignment is to do restoration, to help people around us, to help the planet, and to move forward. To heal where there's so much brokenness, so much trauma, so much healing needs to be done. And it's a God-given assignment. So it doesn't matter what other people do. They're not the ones who told us what to do. They're not our assignment givers. We actually take up this assignment directly from God, not from somebody, not from Kim, not from an assembly, not from anybody. If you feel in your heart that this is where you want to flow, this is where you come and you flow. And if you feel this is not for you, then stand back. It's fine. We're not going to ostracize you or be angry with you. You are welcome to move with us. But if you feel this is not for you, that's fine. But we love you, and it would be good to be part of this because it's amazing what's happening. And changes on the inside flows to the outside, not the other way around. A lot of people think if our circumstances change, guys, that's what people in this country believe. That if the fridge just falls from the earth, they will have a fridge and it would be from the sky and they'll be okay. Or they'll just open the door and there will be a car. It's not the outside things that changes the inside. And I've said this many a time, when the project money starts flowing and our inside is not in line with where we want to go, what are we doing then? Then we're going to have more of the same of what we had in the past. So we must change on the inside. It's not about money. It's not about the one favored above the other. It's about really restoration. It's not the outside things that's going to make the change. Yes, Jay, you want to say something?
Thanks, Eunice. When we say it's a God-given assignment, please understand that we are not saying that we as officers are always right. We need you to help us to be right, to correct us where we are not in alignment. So Kim said yesterday something very nice. She said the officers will become the secretary of you guys, of the people. So that's exactly where we see each other. We are the secretaries. We put together what we feel is the best way forward South Africa. But we will make hundreds of mistakes in the next 100 years. So, and this is where we need a strong community to remind each one of us, including myself and Eunice and Tandy and Kim and Jake and whoever I see here on the screen, if we are not in alignment with kind, loving words to come and say, have you really thought about this? Is this the right thing for the right reason? As I said last week, I read this beautiful, nice description in this book, Shantaram. There are right things and there are wrong things. We always know what's right, and sometimes we have to do the wrong things for the right reasons. But what we are about is to do the right things for the right reasons. And therefore, we sometimes need a reminder. And therefore, we just say thank you already for reminding us. That's all I just wanted to add.
Thank you, Jay. It's good to hear that. And I think we should say that from time to time, and you're welcome to question anybody about why are they really here? What are we doing here? Because I think it should be easy to answer that question. And if any, I actually just want to say we are all human beings. Kim said it last night, and I want to say it again. We are all human beings. Do not think that because somebody is in a position, whether you in a restoration team or on the CFR or in an assembly, or even if you Kim Gogan, we're human. And human people, I can give you a guarantee. I can write out a guarantee to you. Humans make mistakes. But that doesn't end there. It's just part of our journey and of where we're going and what we're doing. And if our intention is correct, we can correct those mistakes and then move forward from there. But do not expect things to happen on the outside. There are people phoning us and saying, so when are you going to build houses? So when are you going to do this? So did you see what they do in South Africa? When are you going to stop it? Guys, there's not a you who's going to do it. The you is us. Each one of us, as we sit here, every one of us is making a difference. And do not forget what God has put inside of you, what he's deposited in you, and how he put you skillfully together for a time like this to do exactly what you should do. I can never do what anybody else do. Kim can never do what I do. Kim Gogan cannot do what Eunice can do because she's Kim Gogan and I'm Eunice. So there's specific things that I have, and I have a specific job to do, and she has. And therefore we have to have grace with one another because we don't always see what the other person is about and what they are doing. Okay, but that's it.
What I would like just to point out, when you see something that we can improve, tell us exactly, specifically what you feel needs improvement, and even best if you have already the solution. Just don't say something like everything is wrong or there are hundreds of mistakes in, and this is not really helpful. It doesn't help us to figure out what exactly you mean. You maybe see them, maybe we don't see them, and just if you point out, we can just say, whatever, give me a name, Peter, you're so right, we don't know why we didn't see it, but just to say, for example, your system is flawed or whatever, doesn't help us. There might be flaws in, but we don't see them if you don't point them out to us. So that's just my encouragement to always criticize in a positive way, to help us to improve. Come with, say, when you say there is something that you can improve and have an even idea how to, we're listening. That's what we're here for.
We do not have all the answers, but we will really try our utmost best to give you answers or to come back to you. And whenever you want to say you're not doing this right, or we have questions about that, I, for one, will be standing out there and saying I was wrong, or if I am wrong, or help you to look for answers. None of us have all the answers, so we really need each other. Okay, so me being a one accorder, and a one accorder means somebody that's taking care, that's responsible to self, and to self, because it's in self where the origin of change lies, and then to those around me. It all starts with me, influencing my family, my friends, my people at work, at school, and that spills over to my community, causing our country to change, and our world becomes what we want and need. And that's exactly where we want to go. Good, next. Okay, this one is, I want you to see right at the bottom, it says the attitude that acts as a guiding principle for behavior. The one accord helps us to show which attitude we must have to act as a guiding principle for our behavior. And our behavior needs to come in line. When people meet you, do they go, are you a one accorder? And I think if we can start doing that, you know, if you see somebody doing something right, doing it in line with the one accord, you can say, I can see you're a one accorder. And I think we can build on to that one accorder. I am a one accorder. I think so are all of us. Next one, thank you. So we look at the key, and the key is to keep educating yourself. Don't wait for somebody else to do it. Don't wait for somebody else to do it. If you want to do something, do it. If you want to start up with something, do it. You don't need permission from anybody. And that is why I put in here, there are 4 areas that we need to keep on educating ourselves on. True self-governance. We do not understand self-governance in its fullness yet, because for many, many years, we didn't do true self-governance. Even though we decided things about ourselves, there was too much out of our control. And then also picture yourself, see yourself as sovereign. So if you behave in any way, if people make you very angry, or people are unfair to you, or they attack you, whatever they do, see yourself as sovereign. And if you're sovereign, how would you react? Like a school child, or like a mature grown-up person who is a sovereign, and then handle the situation. So this is what each individual should do, and each nation. We cannot talk for any other nations, but we can talk for South Africa, because we are here. We live within the borders of South Africa. And this is our responsibility for each of us to do what needs to be done so that our nation can be the nation that it wants to be and can be. Next. Okay, when I accept to be a one accorder, then there are practical steps. And I just want us to look at the highlights. So the family is the responsibility of the parents. Now, we all know that there are so many broken families, and that's why we have children in drugs, on the streets, not taken care of, in human trafficking, whatever, because the family is not intact. When we start changing our attitude and we start working on the one accord, we really need to help families to reunite, to be a family again. And family is not only blood. It can be because you were born from a specific family. But when we talk about family, it's somebody who takes care of you, who protects you, who's responsible and accountable, who really has your genuine interest at heart. That is who family is. But it could be your blood family, or it could be the family where you fit in now. Family could be where you are at work, or at school, or at your church, or wherever. You can see that is your family. But they have to take the responsibility, like to provide, to educate, and to support. And each of us is part of that. Okay, then no one shall be held in slavery. And if I look at slavery, it's much wider than human trafficking. If you have an attitude of being a slave, you know, somebody shouts at you and then you go into the mode of, I'm the victim and this is not okay, then you are held in slavery. Get out of there. You shouldn't be there. If you need help, speak to people, let them help you, because there are patterns and things that's been brought over our lives, and we've learned to react in certain ways. You are not a slave. We are free. Kim freed all of us. Freedom is our part. She removed all the covenants over us. We are truly sovereign and free, and we have to learn how to do that. You know, when you've got pigeons in a coop, and they open the coop and the pigeons can fly, they don't fly because they're used to doing it. And if we realize that we are free, we will start to venture out and do things. And tonight I just want to tell all of you, venture out, try new things, do what you want to do. Yes, we still have restrictions, but start putting it in your mind and start working from there. Okay, the third part is about exploitation. Now, it's not only sexual exploitation. We know there's a lot of exploitation going on in a lot of ways. When they opened the toll gate in our area, there were some people that I knew who went to work there. And after a while, they stopped working there and they really needed the job. So I wanted to know what's the problem. And they said, for every time you want to get on the roster to have a shift that you can work on, you have to pay a part of your money to the person doing the roster. If you don't pay, you just don't get a shift. And then it doesn't stop there. It goes from there further and further. And in the end, it's not worthwhile for them to work there because they lose so much of their money. Now, that's just one type of exploitation. I spoke to somebody over the weekend who said he did a tender and he got this tender. I said, that's wonderful. Are you happy about that? He says, yes, but he had to pay a bribe. That's exploitation. And if we partake in it, we are part of the problem, not part of the solution. And with a One Accord, we actually want to become the solution so that we can help other people to see also that we can only have a solution if we take responsibility. That means we cannot be in the wrong, like paying bribes, and then expect something to work right. It's not going to work right. As long as you feed that wrong thing, we're going to have difficulty in setting it right, like getting our laws in place and getting people to stand up and take responsibility for what they've done. Okay, then all malicious acts must stop immediately. And we cannot stop all of this over our country and over our world. But Kim comes from the top down. She's stopped a lot of malicious acts. She's stopped a lot of things going on there. And we have to do it here where we are, where our feet are, where our body stays. We have to stop malicious acts. So if we see something wrong, we have to speak up in love and see where we can help and how we can change that. Okay, the next one, checks and balances. That is an interesting thing. I just want to read you the meaning of checks and balances. Checks and balances are various procedures set in place to reduce mistakes, to prevent improper behavior, or decrease the risk of centralization of power. Guys, we can only do this if we have checks and balances in place. The minute you remove, you can have checks. We all know when somebody is breaking the law, but there's no balance on the other side that they have to pay for what they did wrong. And if we want to bring that back, this is exactly what we will have to do. Now, if we look at the things here, it's built into the resolution of One Accord. The parent has the right to protect, educate, and support in any way that they see fit, so long as they are not abusive. That is where the checks and balances is. They do not have free reign to do whatever they want to do. And in the place of that word parent there, we can put there a guy who's the boss or the CEO or the whatever where you work, at school, the teacher, the whoever, at church, who is in charge there, whoever it is. But in our households, this is where we are. So we can do it in any way that we see fit, but we cannot be abusive or we cannot violate the natural laws. Natural laws is actually very easy to know when we've violated any of them. If I feel in my heart after I've spoken to somebody and you get that horrible feeling, then you know you've done something wrong. In your natural law that's written in you tells you this is wrong. So then we have to fix it and move from there. Okay, then we have 3 points here that says officials or peace officers. But guys, we are all official and we are all peace officers in our own capacity. So this is for all of us. We have to conduct our business, private and public, in an ethical manner. That's the balance. We also are responsible for the safety of people. So I cannot just drive and go over a red robot. I see so often when the arrow goes red already, there's another 2-3 cars going over the stop street or over the robot. And that's wrong. If we are doing that, let's stop doing that. Let us do the right thing, because a lot of people are going to follow onto this road. We are opening a road for a lot of people in our country to follow on that. Now, the young people say, if you don't follow what everybody's doing, you can't make a living in South Africa. I say it's wrong. We have to change that. So it's got to start with us. Okay, and then we need to uphold the law of the land. I see there's a B, it's not bar, it's R required. Okay, thank you, Thandi. Going on to the next one. We've got guiding principles, and this principle says that the laws must be enforced, always considering the spirit of the law over the letter of the law. Now, we're not always in a court case, in court with a case. But if you have to judge in a situation like you want to buy something and it was priced one price and now they're giving you another price, we can get so angry about that, we can lose it, or we can then enforce the law there, always considering the spirit of the law over the letter of the law. So it's not so much what the law says if you go to court, but what is really happening here. Is this just you want to be right? Or are they really wrong, but sort it out in a loving way, not just saying, oh, shame, poor you made a mistake and I'll forgive it. We don't have to be, we don't have to be vloerlappen, what do you call it? You don't have to be a mat for people to walk over you. Stand up for what you stand up, but let your attitude be the right one. Kim, I'm going to stop now. I just want to finish the sentence. All actions have consequences, whether positive or negative. Every time we have an action, if I do a right thing, I am influencing a lot of other people. If I do a right thing, a wrong thing, I'm also influencing people. So we really need to take that into consideration. Okay, and I'm done. So we are ready, we are willing, and let's do it. Kim, it's your turn. Thank you, Thandi.
Kim,
Kim, you are
yourself, please.
there. You
Hello,
go.
everybody.
Hi.
How is everybody? You all
Good,
good?
good, good. How are you?
Great. I'm good. I'm good. Thank
Good,
you.
good, good.
Eunice, I just wanted to discuss something briefly, if that's okay with you, with regard to the laws of the land. A lot of these laws have been put in place to actually harm us. So I don't quite agree with that statement. And I have fought my whole life not to follow the government's laws. I know it sounds terrible, but I have. And because they are so rigid and they're so wrong and they do so much damage. So that is, that I just wanted to bring that up. I think what we do need is to have absolutely no laws. The only laws that we should be leading is the laws of the resolution of one accord. In other words, I mean, if you're free only and you never harm anybody. Now, I'm going to take your example, if you don't mind. Stopping at a robot. At 10 o'clock at night, there are no cars and it's not a very good place. And I often don't stop there because I just feel I'm not harming anybody. I want to be safe and I'm going to override this government rule. Do you understand? So there are places where you go and you don't work with the government's laws. You actually take them down. Just that's all I have to say.
I think this would be a good time to just give you a little bit of background. There's a lot of work done in that respect yet. We haven't given it over to you because we're waiting for the GIA on that. So when we talk about the law of the land, it's not the maritime law. It's not maritime law. We are under maritime law at the moment in South Africa and over the world. Maritime law is bad, bad, bad stuff. But the law of the land has got very good laws. But in South Africa, they've added a lot of things to our laws and changed, chopped and changed. So when we get in a position where we can change something, when the projects are starting to run, we will, for every project, look at what laws has an influence on that project. And then we will clean it up. We will do orders on that, clean it up, take away what shouldn't be there. We cannot be without laws now because we are not even a handful of people in South Africa that think the way that we do. If you take away the laws, yeah, we will have buckets of blood flowing in the streets. So we need to take the law as it is and change it. As we go along, change it. But in the end, and that's why the resolution of one accord starts off with saying this is we are moving to natural law. So in a few years, we will only have natural law. only a natural law. But for now, we have to have laws so that we can change the world and bring people into a better place. But I agree with you. Kim, do you know that there's a law that says you can go over a red robot if you do with caution, if there's not other traffic? So you're not breaking the law when you're doing that. No, you can do that. But you see, if there's somebody sitting there and he catches you and gives you a ticket or whatever, and says, but you did that, then you feel you don't have anything to stand on. What can you do? So those are the things that we have to change and really bring it into a place where we all are safe with the law, because the law is working against us in many ways. Thank you, Kim. Anybody else?
Just on the red robot, I don't know this law, but definitely you should definitely use it as a stop sign and stop.
Yes.
But just another point that I wanted to make on this, I once put out there for the future that one day we don't call it law enforcement anymore. We call it laws, not laws anymore, but agreements. And enforcement maybe just becomes a reminder. So, but this is the very future where we maybe don't have a law enforcement any longer, but I think I said agreement reminder. So the agreement reminder comes out and say, hey, please remember what you have agreed to. And that's a long way. And this is where we put into place the restoration teams that go through all this, and the knowledge banks, and everyone in the community has the right to put out there in the app one day to say, this is something that we would like to work on. And then there will be probably a vote, like in the White House at the moment, when there is a, what do you call it, not a petition, when it's put to be out there, petition. So that people vote on, say, this is, we want to change the law that you can stop on red robots, you stop on green robots, and then by priority, how many people vote for this will be handled in this way. So all these thoughts are there in theory at the moment, but we will hire quite a few experts that will look into this. And therefore, we need the people in the communities to point out what is not working, put it to the committees and the knowledge banks and the restoration teams, and they will work on it, and then put it to vote. This is the new version. Are you in agreement with?
What Jay just said is that there's a lot of people, knowledgeable people, who will help us with us. They will give us the guidelines, but they will not vote. We will vote. So they will give us the pros and the cons on changing any law, and then the people will decide whether they want that law changed or not. So it's not something that's going to happen somewhere in an office and you just, yeah, this is what it is. You find it in a newspaper printed somewhere. No. You are going to have an app, and on that app, that software will have a program where you can vote. You'll get the information through and you can vote. If you understand what it's all about, if you read through what that law is, then you can vote. If you do not know what it's about, you cannot vote. We actually do not want people to vote if they do not know what it's about. Okay, so there will be a little tick. Do you know what you're voting about? And then take it from there. Okay, anybody else? We've finished talking, so please, from your side, we want to hear you. Anything on the resolution of one accord that you want to talk about?
Can I pipe in here? It's
Yes,
Bonnie.
please. Yes, please.
When I stayed in America for a short time, they had a law in this town where at a certain time, if there was at an intersection at a robot, if there's no cars, you could go through a red robot. So that made sense when there was no traffic, and you know, it was late
Must
at night.
proceed with caution. You are quite right.
Yes, proceed with caution. Yeah, and that makes sense. Why wait for the robot when there's no traffic? Yeah. So that's, yeah.
In East Germany, the one of the last remaining things from the East German country is that they had a green arrow. So there was a green arrow on certain red robots, and you could turn in one way where you don't cross the intersection. This would be in South Africa this way. There was in Germany it was this way, where you just could follow the green arrow. Green arrow says stop, and you can pass if there's no traffic. But I don't want to stop too much time on this. And Jake has his hand up. Maybe he can be next.
Yeah, hi. You're touching on something that's very close to my heart, because I've been talking about this for many, many years. South Africa as a whole, and there's no part of the community that's excluded from this, is basically a lawless society. We teach our children to disregard the law. We put them in a car, we speed, we go through red robots, all these silly things when we drive our car with our children in the car. What do we teach? And we don't obey the law, and we are teaching them not to respect the law, that it's okay. It's okay to do things like that. And if we're going to have a law-abiding country, we need to get into the parents of today. We need to show them, discuss the importance, the psychological importance, and the influence that they're having on their children going into the future. The reason why New Zealand is such a highly vaxxed country is because they obey the law. They don't. You find you very, and I've been into New Zealand a couple of times. You'll very seldomly will find somebody going over the speed limit. It's an exception rather than the norm. And because of this, they have respect for their government and what their government tells them. And so they've all marched, unfortunately, they've all marched in step and gone and been vaxxed. No? A vast majority of them there. So what I'm saying is that once again, we've got to go back to source if we're going to change what the way South Africa views things, their attitude, right? And that's really what's important, is to change the attitude. The training for as far as driving is concerned, that needs to be upped as well. People should not be able to get permission to drive a motor vehicle unless they know how to drive on a freeway as well as in the city. So then you don't get the frustrations coming in where you've got somebody sitting at 100 kilometers per hour with nothing in front of them, and they're sitting in the fast lane and they're blocking all other people who want to travel at the speed limit or just under the speed limit. So it all comes down basically.
Thank you, Jay.
Okay.
Jay. We started on something here on traffic tonight, and actually we in the fast lane we're going with the resolution of one accord. The resolution of one accord comes from God's heart. If you look at the principles, it comes from, if you are a Christian, it comes from the Bible, it comes from the Quran, it comes from every one of those. It's the basic natural law. So I do not think we can go wrong if we stick to that. The problem is, if you bring more laws, we've got such thick law books in South Africa. We've got some of the best laws in the world. The more laws you have, the more they're broken. We should move away from that. So we've got to clean up and have very clear, easy laws to follow. You just know this is right, this is wrong, and that's where we want to go. But if you bring out a law, we have to police people to do it right. We don't want that. So what we're talking about tonight is, let's change on the inside and let that be an example to the people around us, so that we can change communities and changing our world from the inside going to the outside. Jake, what you just said is very important, but we must also remember it was programs that was rolled out over the world, over us, and we taught it to our children. It was programs. We were mind controlled by programs like that. Take a bribe, break the law, nobody will know, and if you do it, you just pay a little bit under the table and then you get away with it. That must stop, but it must stop with us. Okay, so I want to give you homework. I want to ask us all to work on this for the week that's ahead. I want us to look through this week, how it goes. And before the call next week, scale yourself on a 1 to 10. 1 meaning you really didn't make it. 10 means I did quite well. And it's not a competition with other people, it's for yourself. So scale yourself on a scale of 0 to 10. How well did it go? If you take the resolution of one accord in your behavior, in your attitude, and how you fared for the week lying ahead. That's the first thing. The second one, with what did you experience difficulties? And number 3, how can we solve it? And let's talk about it, because there are things that's not easy to solve. We can talk about all the things that are wrong, but we have to break it down to bite sizes and see where we are at and how we can change it. Okay, and we'll just spend like 2 minutes on it next week, because next week we're talking assemblies, and that's great. That's great stuff. Okay, Ursula, you want to say something? Please do. You're welcome.
Hi, Tanya invited me. She saw me making a comment on the Life Force
I like it. Welcome.
general chat. So I think she may have thought I'm a like-minded person, which is a great compliment. Thank you very much, Tanya, for inviting me.
It's a pleasure.
Did make me feel-
We always put the notifications out, but I haven't seen you, so, and I knew you were on the group, so I just thought, let me take the chance. Let me invite you
That's
directly.
good.
Yes. Okay. Well, I'm all in. I know that I'm here for a reason, and you know, that's certainly going to come up along the way. And yeah, I'm retired, and I worked at the SABC for 30 years. So maybe something in broadcasting, but I also love animals, and I would love to do something for animals. But I'm a supporter. I'm a helper, and I probably would be good with sharing information with people, be it talking to them face to face, etc. So thank you very much. It's
Super. You're in the
nice
right
to be
place,
part.
and you're so welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ursula, in what area of South Africa do you live? I don't want your full address. I just want to know whereabouts are you?
I'm in Johannesburg.
Okay, good.
Yes, in Blackheath, near Crest.
Okay. Are you involved with a group in Joburg already or not? Not yet.
No, yeah.
Okay, we'll speak
Obviously,
to you
I'm getting
about that.
involved.
Yes, do. It's good. Guys, we are a good bunch. So is there anybody else?
There's a little comment from Nosifo. So Nosifo just asked if we can also need support, if not starters. I think you mean, Nosifo, whenever you can contribute, just let us know whatever you are about. You can reach out to us, either me, Tandy, or Eunice, and maybe we can have a one-on-one and we can share what your gifts are and how we can make use of it for South Africa, or where we can help you to use your gifts in your community and your area. You also asked about the ratification. We as National Assembly for South Africa are done with our ratification documents, and they are on the way to the right desk. Eunice wants to say something?
No. For the fourth time, we've refined it, so it's good.
Yes. So we have had it in. There were the people who are longer with us know that there were some changes in the community. There was one person, Christy, that was once responsible. There was another person that we handed in to Martin. He is involved in GIA. Stefan got one. Kim got one quite a while ago. And so we are working with people within Kim's close community, and we refined whatever we need to refine. And we proposed what we proposed to you a few weeks ago, and we refined it, handed in our budget. So everything is on the way, and we will see if there are points that we need to refine or need to change. But I think we are on a very good way. And we had a lot of help from experts in discussing a few things, and we have a help from people in the community and members. I think, yeah, so that's what we can say about this. We don't know when the next, how can I say, batch by Kim will be, or reach Kim's desk, that she goes through them. Yesterday, it was mentioned that there are, I can't remember, dozens or if not hundreds applications going her way. One of this is ours. And we will keep you updated, and we will do our best to do the best for South Africa. We built our ratification documents on the one accord and on our consciousness and our discussions with you guys and with experts of South Africa. And we are not always in agreement with other people around the world, but we feel the best way that we propose is what we propose, and we might need to change a lot of things over the next years. But I think that's the way where we feel strong about, and where we feel this is what Source told us to do. And we are, strong and confident.
Yes, and please remember, it's not us who gets ratified, it's our country.
Yes.
It's for our country, it's not people. It's for our country. And so we are waiting for it. So if wherever you are, you hear a terrible scream and you hear on the news, people are dancing in the street, we've been ratified. You will know it. We will let you know in more than one way. You will know it. Okay. Are there any of the assemblies that are ready to be ratified, to send in their docs? If there are any of you, you need any help, speak to us. Let's see what we can do to help you guys also to get them going.
Eunice, I am. I've actually been working on it for the last 3 weeks, and I've just got an email back to say that there were a few things that I need to add and change. I have, hopefully I will have an appointment next week. They actually booked 2 appointments for us. But what basically happened is that after the first appointment, well, the first appointment was cancelled due to some emergency with GIA. And then the second appointment I cancelled because there were too many additional documents that I had to obtain, which I hadn't. So hopefully we'll have an appointment. But yes, I'd love some help.
Okay. Yes, go for it. Yes, get the paperwork done. That's good. That's good. And guys, we are moving forward. Don't wait. Don't think it's going to happen sometime. But thank you for your time. We love you guys. Have a good week. See you next week.
Everybody.
Okay
This was
then.
wonderful. Thank you.
Everybody,
Love
goodbye.
you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.